The young talents who played the latest edition of Rangers Angels swung for the fences, showcasing what we look forward to in this rivalry. But last night's version ended with late inning heroics from two men helping their clubs in a pinch. Rangers baseball is presented by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. A beautiful view of the Big A here in Anaheim as we get ready for the middle game of this three-game series. And Adrian Beltre back for the Rangers tonight. Welcome in again, everybody. I'm Dave Raymond alongside CJ Nitkowski. The Rangers and Angels in the middle game of this three-game series. Last night, kind of a dramatic finish to this one, and really the last couple of nights. We've talked a lot about the difficulty of being a pinch hitter, and we have seen some guys really do it well the last two nights.
We certainly have, and it's probably one of those skills in the game that doesn't get talked about enough because it is such a difficult skill. Lenny Harris, of course, the all-time pinch hit leader in Major League Baseball. We saw some dramatics on Sunday. Joey Gallo with that big home run to dead center field. Not an easy thing to do, to come in and drive the ball out of the ballpark in a pinch hit spot. And then the Angels have seen it a little bit lately here with Jose Briseño, who's done a really nice job. You see the big home run that he hit in Houston. And then yesterday, in this game here in Anaheim, Elvis Andrus was the hero. The big base hit late in the ninth inning. That one tied the game up as Delano DeShields came around to score. But then, unfortunately, in the 11th inning, it was Briseño once again. And this big home run, back-to-back nights for him, in which he hits monster pinch hit home runs. Not an easy thing to do, but right now for both of these clubs, they've gotten some great production out of the pinch hit spot.
Well, it's made for some interesting baseball these last couple of days for both these ball clubs. The other thing that they both have in common is a host of very good young players. Maybe none as good as Shohei Ohtani. Ronald Guzman has done a great job for the Rangers as well. Let's put those guys in the spotlight when we come back. Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Ah, yes, the refreshing waters of Southern California and our Shiner Light Blonde spotlight. A couple of rookies and a real good battle right now between these two and rookie RBIs.
Yeah, this thing has really been an interesting season. We talk about all these really good American League rookies and a great year for Ronald Guzman. Shohei Ohtani, the fact that he is on that list and has done it for a guy that hasn't played every day. Of course, we know he's been a part-time offensive player for most of the year. It's been pretty incredible to watch. Of course, Miguel Andujar is having a monster season, but the AL Rookie of the Year vote certainly will be an interesting one, and you can see why when you take a look at this list.
All right, so those are a couple of the young fellas, but great to see the veteran back in the lineup today. Adrian Beltre in there for the Rangers. We'll be back with the starting lineups and first pitch in a moment.
Set for game 2 of 3, the final series of the season between the Angels and the Rangers. And this very well could be Adrian Beltre's last trip to the Big A. And this is a team he has enjoyed playing against over the course of his career. There you see the numbers: 259 games, over 1,000 at-bats, 275 hits, 47 dingers, and 167 RBIs. Adrian in the lineup tonight and that DH position. That hip pointer still an issue, but obviously Don Wakamatsu wanting to get him on the field as much as possible, and Adrian wanting to be on the field as much as possible in case this is in fact his final season, guys.
Yeah, important, I think, for Adrian, important for the Rangers, and listen, for these fans. Everybody wants to get a shot to see Adrian Beltre as we get ready to go tonight. And our Southwest Airlines starting lineup: Delano DeShields leading it off in center field, Elvis Andrus at short, Shin-Soo Choo in right field, Beltre, Odor, and Jurickson Profar at third base in the middle of the order. Gallo in left field, Chirinos catching, Ronald Guzman at first, rounded out.
And we'll take a look at the pitch arsenal so far and what we have seen from Matt Shoemaker. It's only been 5 starts so far this season, but
the Shiner Light Blonde pitch arsenal. It is the two-seam fastball 34% of the time, the split finger, the slider, the four-seamer, and the curveball. And check out that opponent's batting average against the split, just 143 so far this season.
Well, he gets that first one in there for a strike tonight. We are underway. Middle game of this 3-game series. Low, it's 1-1 to Shields. Delano, you see there at the bottom of his stat line, the 10 bunt hits. His speed, a difference maker in the top of the order. Yesterday, a heavily left-handed hitting lineup for the Rangers. Today, a little more balance. 4 lefties and a switch hitter in there. DeShields up at the top of the order as Don Wakamatsu continues to tinker with the lineup. Trying a number of different things. Also trying to get guys opportunities, time in this last week of the season, you know, in different spots defensively. DeShields lifts this one in the air. Short right field. Cowart, who had a great day at shortstop yesterday, makes the first play today from the second base position.
The Angels defense this evening is delivered to you by Jack in the Box. It's Justin Upton, Mike Trout, and Cole Calhoun in the outfield. And in the infield this evening, you're going to see Taylor Ward at third, Anderson Simmons back in the lineup at short, Caleb Cowart, Jose Fernandez, and it's Joe Hudson, the rookie, behind the plate.
So 1 out. And here is Elvis Andrus, 255 average for the year, 6 home runs. Shoemaker, as we mentioned, just his 6th start of the season. He was reinstated from the disabled list September 3rd in a game at our place in Arlington. And he went 5 shutout innings in that one. His best start so far. And that one finds the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Andrews.
He had the right forearm strain, unfortunately for Matt Shoemaker, caused him to miss a lot of time this year. And this is a guy who's had a really nice story as far as his ascent to the big leagues. But the last 2 years now, just 19 starts and right at 100 innings. And so injuries have been a problem for him in 2017 and again here in 2018.
Yeah, one of those guys. I think the Angels, when they assess their roster every year in the offseason, think about the potential, he's a big part of it. If they could just keep him healthy, they feel like they've got a great one. 1-2 the count. But staying healthy has been the problem. Now, in his debut this year, back in March, it was March 31st in Oakland. And he went 5 2/3 innings in that one. Well, 3 runs on 4 hits. So taking his first start deep into the 6th inning, and then came up injured afterward. And that's a bummer for them. He strikes out Andrews here, and there are 2 gone. Well, here's Chu batting in the 3rd spot in the order. And you see the highlighted 21 home runs for Chu. We talked about it yesterday. 1 short of tying his career high in home runs, and plenty of time yet to do it. But for whatever reason, the home runs have been hard to come by lately for him.
And it hasn't felt like one of those situations where he's pressing, that he's worried about trying to set any kind of career high in home runs. Chu never really gives off that kind of vibe. Even when the hits aren't falling in, the at-bats still look pretty consistent. You may see a little bit more swing and miss during his struggles, but it's not like his swing gets real big and he's trying to yank the ball out of the ballpark.
Just the 1 homer in the last 42 games now. And he's had some stretches this season where, I mean, he's been red hot in terms of power. So do kind of come and go for him. The one thing that doesn't change much, though, is his ability to give a good at bat, work a count, and get on base. Getting on base at a nearly 380 clip this year.
And we were talking about him hitting in the 3 spot tonight. First time he's done it all year over the course of his career. You know, he's been so steady. He does have nearly 1,300 plate appearances as a 3-hole hitter.
Mentioning his on base this year being nearly 380. Against right-handers, it's up over 400. 7th best against righties in big league baseball this year. Two. And he takes strike 3 called. So Shoemaker with a 1-2-3, top of the first. Rangers going quietly. Yovani Gallardo will go to work. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right. Well, ready for the bottom of the first inning now. We take a look at the Angels starting lineup. And Cole Calhoun starting it off in right field. Jose Fernandez at first. Mike Trout in center field. It's Ohtani, the DH. Justin Upton back in there today in left field. Andrelton Simmons also back in the lineup at shortstop. Ward, Cowart, and the rookie Joe Hudson catching round things out for the Angels. Calhoun, 205 average. But 19 home runs, 57 driven in. And Gallardo's first pitch, close, but called ball 1. There's a note there at the bottom there. 2 hits in the last 47 at-bats for Calhoun. Hits this ball on the ground down to first base. Routine play for Guzman, 1 away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch arsenal for Yovani Gallardo, which is presented by Shiner Light Blonde. 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball. You see a slider, curveball, changeup. He uses all of these pitches a lot. This is a true 5-pitch mix, or really 4-pitch mix when you look at the couple of different fastballs that Gallardo uses. The slider, you see just that 214 opponent's batting average against that pitch. It has been a good one for him. It's also the pitch in which he has registered the most strikeouts, 20 of them so far this season.
All right, Jose Fernandez, the hitter, and a breaking ball right in there, strike 1. Couple of lefties up at the top of the order for the Angels, and then that fella, Mike Trout. Fernandez lately has found the power stroke. Half of his hits recently have been for extra bases, and he fouls one away. It's 1 and 2. 259 average this year for the Angels' first baseman. He was a September call-up. Second go-round with the club. And just off the plate, 2 and 2.
And the Angels are in that same situation and have been for a while as the Rangers, and taking advantage of those expanded rosters. The injuries got in the way as far as their ambitions to contend this year. So now they're doing some evaluating. Had some significant turnover on their roster. Some of it due to trades, Ian Kinsler getting traded to the Boston Red Sox, but then also some due to injury. Zach Cozart missing a good chunk of the year. Albert Pujols has been out for a while. A couple of surgeries for him.
Here's ball 4 to Fernandez.
All right, let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Methodist Health System. Joey Gallo, Delano DeShields, and Shin-Soo Choo in the outfield for the Rangers. And in that infield, Jurickson Profar, Elvis Andrews, Rougned Odor, Ronald Guzman, and Robinson Chirinos catching this evening.
Man aboard for Mike Trout. A strong argument once again could be made for Trout as MVP in the American League. And there's also a likelihood that he will miss out on some votes this year in the American League. He's got the best on base percentage in baseball at 4:59.
I think what will hurt him this year, Mookie Betts, J.D. Martinez, for voters that feel strongly about the MVP coming from a contender. They're also having some really nice seasons. Now, Mike Trout has never finished lower than fourth, and fourth was last year. He had never finished lower than second in his career. It's been pretty incredible, and I think safe to say that he will once again not finish any lower than fourth.
And last year, part of the reason he finished as low as he did was a significant amount of time lost to injury. And this year he missed time again, a couple of weeks in early August, and then had some family issues that he had to deal with that caused him to miss a little more time. He really struggled with the loss of his brother-in-law, Aaron Cox, who was a young player in the Angels system, just 24 years old, and passed away earlier this season as well. And it's been a tough year for Trout in that way. And he takes a strike, gets a full count.
That's a good pitch from Gallardo. We talk about this with Trout all the time, the idea of trying to elevate. You'll pick your spots here and there where you go down in the zone. Now, Giovanni Gallardo does not have the overpowering stuff, and so command, mixing the pitch is really important against Trout. Let's see if he tries to go up and in or maybe down and in again.
Caught close to the middle of the plate with that one.
Yeah, it's one of those situations you're in right now. It's the first inning. Obviously, don't want to put him on back-to-back walks. It doesn't get any easier with this lineup and Ohtani waiting on deck. At the same time, catch too much of the plate. We know Mike Trout can make you pay.
3-2. And they'll put him on. So back-to-back walks here in the first inning.
Well, we saw Shohei Ohtani hit a pretty incredible home run in last night's ball game. This was against Adrian Sampson, a no-doubter. It was 113 miles an hour and 428 feet, but I think you described it perfectly as majestic because of the height, 146 feet on the apex. Shohei Ohtani continues to impress with the bat.
Well, the rookie steps in with a couple of men on base, so a tough spot now for Gallardo. Fernandez at second, Trout at first. Gallardo, the 32-year-old veteran, checks second and delivers. And that one line to first. What a spear at first base by Guzman, and he'll go to first for the double play. Wow. The former hoopster, Guzman, showing some hops.
Oh, what a play by Ronald Guzman. We've talked about his defense all year long. He continues to impress. Look at him get up. Even Mike Trout couldn't believe it. And beats him back to the bag for the double play.
And glove work by the first baseman, Ronald Guzman. And if you guys will remember, we inquired about that wingspan a couple of weeks ago. And so I got out the tape measure in the clubhouse last week when we were back at home and actually measured Ronald Guzman's wingspan. The verdict, 78.5 inches. So 6'6.5", which is just a skosh over what Guzzi is listed at height-wise. So 6'6" is what he's listed at, and he's got a wingspan of 78.5 inches. So just even a little bit longer than the length of his body, for what it's worth.
Yeah, didn't you say that? Were you the one that said that?
Yeah.
It's usually the same?
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
Yeah, your wingspan is generally your height. Well, you know, within
Isn't that
reason.
so weird, though, that that's the case? I mean,
It is kind of
it
odd.
doesn't, like, why?
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a bigger question I don't think we'll be able to quite tackle.
yeah.
0-2 on Beltre.
This is a great play that he made, using all of that wingspan to get to it. And, you know, the adage is freeze on a line drive. That's not your standard line drive, right, in the infield. Mike Trout's thinking that is going to be a base hit into the corner. I'm going to try to score on that. And that's why he took off so aggressively, and Ronald Guzman just does it again. How about the way the inning went? I mean, it was pretty much the Ronald Guzman show. Ground ball to him, gets the first out. Couple of walks, line drive to him, gets 2 more outs. You only needed 3 guys on the field that inning. Robinson Chirinos, Giovanni Gallardo, and Ronald Guzman.
So you can go Satchel Paige, just call everybody else in.
Now, is that an urban legend or is that?
No,
that's true.
Yeah. Apparently it was true.
See,
happened a couple of times.
Did you ever see Soul of the Game, that HBO movie? That was a Satchel Paige movie that they depict that scene in there.
Little roller shortstop, and Andrelton Simmons with the over-the-top throw takes care of Beltre, one away. Well, the final opening day at Globe Life Park is already on the schedule. Rangers and Cubs. That's how we begin 2019 on March 28th of next year. Well, you can become a 2019 season ticket holder today and guarantee your opening day tickets. Full and half-season ticket plans are available now. TexasRangers.com/seasons.
So in the movie, Satchel Paige is facing Josh Gibson.
Okay.
Is that folklore?
Well, so as I understand it, Satchel Paige, when he was barnstorming and playing, of course, even in, I'm sure, some regular Negro League season, regular season games, would occasionally do that, right? Now, so did it happen necessarily with Josh Gibson? I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't doubt it.
But in the movie, the way they depict it, I think Josh Gibson ends up getting a hit.
Well, that would be trouble.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. And then I can't remember, he started yelling at one of the kids to like go get the ball while Josh was like slowly jogging around the bases. It was just a line drive base hit that turned into a home run, but definitely a good movie and worth your time.
The 0-2 pitch to Odor. And that one rolled over to the right side of the infield. Kaleb Cowart right there for it, 2 away. So here comes Jurickson Profar. And he is our TXU Energy power player to watch tonight. Just needs one more home run, and he'd be the 5th switch hitter in Rangers history with at least 20 home runs in a season. Ruben Sierra, Mark Teixeira, Mickey Tettleton, and Milton Bradley. So they've had 4 so far. And Profar, if he gets it this year, that'd be great. It's certainly coming if he, for whatever reason, doesn't happen to get it this year. On top of the home runs, and he has 19 of them, he leads his team with 35 doubles. He has 6 triples, also most on the team. It's been a huge year for Jurickson Profar. Shoemaker jumps ahead 0-2, as he has this inning with every hitter. Shoemaker got a couple of strikeouts in the first inning. There's 2 groundouts and a pop-up. Rangers haven't found the outfield grass yet. And the 2-strike offering. A little bit in. Shoemaker was on his way. As far as he was concerned, inning over.
Tough to get that call in a 0-2 count. We talk about that one a lot, and I think it was a ball anyway.
It definitely was 2-2.
So if Profar can do it before the season is over, we mentioned the guys that have done it, and Ruben Sierra did it multiple times, as did Mark Teixeira, but it would be, of the 12 times that it's happened total in Rangers history, he would actually have the 5th least amount of at-bats in which it happened.
Well, he strikes out here, and that's the 3rd strikeout of the night for Shoemaker. He's off to a good start this evening. We played 1.5, no score. Visit your local Buick dealer. Well, we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Guzman, right now, the defensive highlight of this game. Let's see what he tries here in the 2nd inning to keep up with himself. Is Giovanni Gallardo puts first pitch in there for a strike to Upton. Justin Upton was not in the lineup yesterday. 30 home runs this year for Upton. And how about that? A record for an Angels left fielder. 84 RBIs as well. So what has long been a black hole of no production for the Angels, suddenly now they have an answer, and a good one out there in Upton. I mean, everybody has their problems.
Yep.
So far be it for me to concern myself with the Angels, but it seems just a little late on that one, right? I mean,
left field?
Yeah.
Oh, it was unbelievable how consistent. Left field and left-handed relief pitching.
Yeah.
Just one of those things that was consistently an issue for them for the longest time. And they did finally get their man. They answered that. They went out and they spent the money to do it, right? First the trade for Justin Upton, then the contract extension. Listen, they've done a good job as far as putting a competitive roster together. They just haven't been able to keep their pitchers healthy.
Little pop-up, short right field, and Odor out there. And he'll take care of it for out number 1.
Well, this is what you call not breaking a bat, but absolutely smashing a bat. And look at that helicopter right there. That is some scary stuff, as this will go off to the left of your screen right here. By the time Gallardo reacted, that bat might have already been past him. You don't see bats break like that. That
Not quite like that.
Pretty clean break.
So Andrelton Simmons.
This is all barrel. Looks like it breaks right around. Look at that. Wow. That's incredible.
Slow chopper to third. Nice charge by Profar, and he throws out Simmons, 2 away.
Let's go ahead and get to our showstopper for the evening. And you probably heard me talking about this in the pregame, how great Max Scherzer is and the great stuff that he has. Well, he is now the 3rd pitcher since 2010 with 300-plus strikeouts in a season. Kershaw did it a couple of years ago. Chris Sale last year. Now, the year that Sale did it, he had 308. So I got to believe Scherzer will get one more start right on Sunday. And will he be able to pass what Chris Sale did? Because he should be able to pass what Kershaw did. He struck out 301 that year. So if you can get to 309, now you're talking about the most strikeouts that we have seen since 2002. And you remember when, I think it was StatCast or Baseball Savant, when you could look up really cool pitch data, fastest pitches, and then they literally had an Aroldis Chapman filter where you could click on it and it would take him out, and then you could compare everybody else in the league. They need to do that with Randy Johnson for 300 strikeout seasons.
A towering fly ball to left field by Ward, and that makes for a 1-2-3 inning now for Gallardo. We're off to the 3rd. We remind you to click it or tick it, day and night. MLB At Bat. It's your number 1 Rangers app. You can customize your experience and take advantage of so many great features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day. Download MLB At Bat today. Well, we'll head to the 3rd inning here. Both pitchers off to a pretty nice start so far. Joey Gallo hits this one high in the air out to center field, and that is a soaring fly ball. Deep to center and gone! Way up on that green hill in center field, and Gallo has hit his 40th home run of the year.
Congratulations to Joey Gallo. Back-to-back seasons now in which he has hit 40 home runs, and this was a towering shot to dead center field, and a really nice moment for Joey Gallo, and one that is well-deserved. We'll take a look at the pitch here from Shoemaker, and that one sat right in the middle of the play. It looked like it was a changeup. You see that downward action, or a slider that didn't do much at 82 miles an hour. Look how high this thing went. They tried to build those or let those topiaries grow out a little bit so Joey Gallo couldn't get over them. You can't stop him.
What?
Hedges, whatever they are.
Chirinos, and he'll line his up into center field for a base hit. So Joey Gallo, back-to-back years with 40 home runs. A-Rod, the last to do that for the Rangers, 2002 and 3. That wasn't a cheapie.
That's cool to see, man. Listen, we love round numbers. We love the history when we start comparing round numbers. Would it have made a difference if he had 39 or 40 when you really look at his season and the production? Maybe not, but it's still really cool. Remember when he hit his 40th last year? He was ear to ear, right, with that smile going around the bases. And for him to do that in back-to-back seasons, it's special.
Yeah, he's got to be very happy with that, right, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, you saw the look there on his face, and especially when you look at the player that Joey is, and that he is a little bit of an anomaly. The fact that he's able to hit so many bombs, but he strikes out so much, a part of his game that he's trying to work on. So to be able to bring that value to the team is very important to Joey, because he knows that's his strong suit, and especially when you juxtapose it against the high strikeout numbers. And so it is a feeling of accomplishment for him. It's something that he absolutely recognizes, and if it wasn't obvious before, his reaction there in the dugout, I think is pretty clear indication of it.
That's a big one for him. So back-to-back years of 40 or more home runs. The fourth Ranger to pull is such a trick as this bouncer on the ground, second base. Quick flip to second. And Simmons' throw is high to first, so Guzman is safe. He's on via the fielder's choice. That goes 4-6 to erase Chirinos.
That's not something you see every day. We know Anderson Simmons has got the great arm, but for the Angels, they have been so good in these spots and really look like it should have been routine. And of course, it won't count as an error. You never assume a double play, but if you're going to assume anything, I would assume that Anderson Simmons would make that throw just about every single time. And that was a shot at double play number 170. The Angels have turned the most double plays in the game.
1-0 Rangers on the Gallo home run. Guzman at first now with an out. And here is DeShields. Lino 0-for-1, popped up in the first inning. And he's bunting, third base side, charging with a bare hand and then kicking the baseball. Ward will scoop it up in foul ground, but everybody's safe. And DeShields with his 11th bunt hit of the year.
Well, that's not something you see every day. I mean, we kind of use the phrase kicking it around, but you don't actually see infielders kicking the ball around the way that Ward just did on this one. Nice job by Delino as he deadens that ball. There's a high bounce there. And Ward tried to go with the barehanded play and then couldn't come up with it and ended up kicking it. Of course, Delino with the great speed down the line. The Rangers have been really good between Rougned Odor and Delino DeShields. You see his 11th bunt hit. That leads the American League. Of course, we've seen Ruby do an excellent job with his bunt hits this season as well.
So 2 men out there for Elvis, and he swings right through strike one. Well, we showed you that note a moment ago about Gallo with back-to-back 40 homer seasons, and that A-Rod the last to do it. Worth pointing out, Alex Rodriguez did it 3 years in a row, 2001, 2, and 3. And the other two Rangers, Palmeiro and Juan Gonzalez. Palmeiro did it in 01 and 02. And Juan Gonzalez did it in 1992, 1993. And then he also did it a couple years later, started a stretch of 3 consecutive years, 96 through 98. Gallo joining some pretty good company right there. Inside 1-1. There you go. So there are the guys and the years they accomplished the feat. 41 last year for Joey, 40 this year.
Well, certainly we expect him to do it again, right, as long as he is healthy. The power of Joey Gallo, maybe that's not fair to say that, but I think we sit here and I think fans sit here and say, yeah, how many years can he actually do this in a row? And he could go on quite the run as long as he stays healthy, right? That's the big key, and certainly not an automatic in this game. He has proven that that power is for real, and what's so cool about the fact that he has done this in back-to-back years was, what were the expectations coming into last season? Going back to spring training, he wasn't even anticipated that he was going to be on the roster But the injury to Adrian Beltre, well, he ended up being the starting third baseman and stayed the rest of the season, put up those 41 home runs, and proved that he was ready to be an everyday big leaguer.
2-1. And Elvis fouls that one away. Yeah, the other thing that's pretty cool about it is, I mean, he's 24 years old. And when you think of guys who have hit 40 home runs or more in back-to-back years, prior to turning 25 years old, you're talking about Willie Mays, Johnny Bench, Eddie Matthews, Pujols, Ken Griffey Jr., A-Rod, Juan Gonzalez, and Troy Gloss. That's it. That's the list. And so he's on that list now. And I think that's a pretty good one to be on. 2-2. Another foul ball.
Players tell you all the time, and understandably so, that they take it a game at a time, a season at a time, whatever it may be. Well, we don't have to do that because we're not players, right? So you talk about him being 24 years old, and you start to think kind of big. And what could he do over the course of his career? Now, again, health is really important, but the power is for real. Joey Gallo does not hit cheap home runs. He absolutely smashes them. And could he go on a run where, say, he's averaging 35 home runs through even his age 32 season? I think that is perfectly reasonable for a guy like Joey Gallo. And then you start compiling those numbers. They're pretty big.
Fly ball to center field, and Trout takes care of it. 2 gone. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Rick Renner. Thanks, Rick.
What an emotional weekend it'll be for Mets fans. It's been tough to not see David Wright on the field the last couple of years, and injuries ultimately cutting his career short. He still had 2 years left on his contract for about $27 million. He's already announced that he will retire, trying to manage those injuries have become too much for him. And as much as we have gone through this with Adrian Beltre and the possibilities, we don't know. Well, Met fans, they know for sure. He's certainly their version of Adrian Beltre. It's not a Hall of Fame career, but it is a really great career. Certainly one of the best Mets of all time. Certainly, definitely in recent history. Some tears that are shed at Citi Field.
Throw back down to second base. Guzman with that extra half-inch on the reach, able to get back in there safely. I guess it'd be a quarter-inch extra that he gets on the one arm.
Unless one arm's longer than the other.
It could be.
You never know.
He might be leading the league in batting gloves in the back pocket. I think he's got them stuffed in both pockets. Inside, 2-1. Let's see, 1, 2, and that. Oh, we got another. Yep.
Well, so he has the hitting gloves.
Yeah.
And then he has the base running gloves, but for whatever reason, maybe he only wears them when he's on first. He's sliding. I don't know. Now Emily's got something to do tomorrow.
2-2. Always found that to be one of the more interesting things on the bases. The number of batting gloves guys will carry around with them as they run the bases.
Yep.
Gotta have them. Slight shift on the infield as they play Chu to pull the ball. 2-2. And he strikes out swinging, and the inning is done. Rangers leave a couple, but Joey Gallo wowed the fans here with a soaring shot to center field. Number 40 on the year for Joey Gallo. And the Rangers lead 1-0.
Angels by a score of 1-0 thanks to This man right here, Joey Gallo on that slider. And StatCast AI is powered by AWS, and we're going to show you the exit velocity of 108 miles an hour, that distance of 4:13 for Joey Gallo. The apex, any guesses? So we had 146, I believe, with Ohtani yesterday.
121.
That was pretty high. It was 148, actually. 134.
Okay. I'd believe you.
Yeah, I wouldn't lie, and I'm looking right at it, so you know I'm right. You think that's perfectly accurate?
Nope. I really don't. Cowart in a hole 0-2.
I guess perfectly is not fair. That's a pretty high standard. I wonder what the margin of error is for the apex.
High pop up. Left field, heading foul. Long run for everybody involved, but it is Gallo who gets there. And there is one out. And that gives us a moment to check in with the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
All right, one out here in the third inning. Rangers with the 1-0 lead, and Joe Hudson will be the batter here against Gallardo. Giovanni's looked pretty good so far here early on. Hudson 1 for 7. This is just the 7th game he's played. Hits this ball hard out to center field, but the Shields runs underneath it, and there are 2 away.
It's always fun to watch Delano coast like that. That ball was pretty well struck and looked like it was going to fade away from him. And, I mean, him and Tochi both, right? We've seen them out there. And even Joey Gallo, I mean, obviously not as fast as those guys, but the coverage in the outfield has been really good. And the defense matters a lot. We talk about certain guys in this rotation when Murado is making starts, when Mendez is making starts, Gallardo. These are contact pitchers with below average strikeout rates. That's not the name of their game. They're not about swings and misses. They're about letting the ball be put in play, trying to keep the baseball off the barrel, induce that weak contact. And this has been a good year for having those kind of guys on your staff. Check this out. This is the ultimate zone rating. As a team, the Rangers so much better than they were a year ago. 8th overall so far this season, 24th last year, and they had a negative rating. That is quite the turnaround for an entire defense.
Calhoun lofts one out to center field, and an easy play for the Shields. Completes a 1-2-3. Giovanni Gallardo cruising so far through 3 innings, working with a 1-0 lead. Legendary lager for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. A little of the scene from Sunday back home. Beltre walked off the field in the 6th inning and got a great salute from his teammates and from the fans back at Globe Life Park. What an emotional and memorable moment that was. Beltre now trying to give the fans a little something in each of these last 2 stops of the 2018 regular season. In the lineup today, leading off here in the 4th. And he hits this ball hard down to third, but right to Ward, 1 away.
Some hard lineouts today in this game. Shohei Ohtani with that 100-mile-an-hour line out for a double play. Adrian Beltre, we've seen some in the outfield. A nice play by Delano DeShields last inning on a well-struck ball, so there's been some good contact tonight.
Now here's Rugi. Odor batting 5th today. Grounded out in his first at bat against Shoemaker. And he takes a strike. Shoemaker gave up the home run to Gallo, and in total 3 hits in that 3rd inning. Other than that, that bump he had in the 3rd, he is not allowed a base runner. The first 2 innings, very much in command of this thing. That one tight. Goes to 1-1 on Odor. Odor lost some significant time this year to injury. And yet, he's got a shot at 20 home runs for the year. Little tapper out in front of the plate, and that's a fair ball. And Hudson throws out Odor for out number 2. Well, we invite you to entertain your guests at Globe Life Park for a night of hospitality in a suite. Suite rentals include parking passes, a suite attendant, concierge service, and recognition on the center field video board. Go to TexasRangers.com/suites to place a deposit for a suite rental in 2019. Profar struck out in the second. Bats here in the 4th inning and puts the first one in play down that first baseline, but foul. Shoemaker making just his 6th start of the year, a 2-2 record, a 5.48 earned run average. Another year, the majority of it anyway, lost to injury. There's a swing and a miss. He gets ahead of Profar, 0-2. So for Shoemaker tonight, this is the 100th career game for him. 92nd start, but he becomes one of just 9 players in Angels history to have won 40 games in his first 100. He's already done that. Career record of 40 wins and 32 losses, a sub-4 earned run average in his career. It's over parts of 6 seasons he has pitched now with the Angels. Is 1-2 to Profar. Called strike 3. A close one, but Profar down looking, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Shoemaker. Rangers take a 1-0 lead to the bottom of the 4th. Across the bottom, a 1-0 Rangers lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Our Kubota power stats for tonight. Rangers pitching. Now this is since 2000. You look at the seasons with the fewest walks allowed. 2012, 2011, pretty good years. Well, here in 2018, only 469 walks issued by Rangers pitching, and not likely to walk enough to pass the 2006 season. So this will be one of the better years in recent history in terms of eliminating those free passes.
We heard the conversation in spring training. That was one of the goals for this Rangers pitching staff, was to get the walks down. Last year, a 3.5 walk rate. Coming into tonight, 3.1, as we mentioned, 3rd best since 2000 for this organization. Twice they have been under since 2000, 3 walks per 9. Not surprisingly, seasons 2011 and 2012. They got an outside shot of getting there. They'd have to be pretty stingy the rest of the season to get that rate under 3. But regardless, it's been a really good year. That's important. You sit there and you evaluate your team, and wins and losses, we know about those, right? There's no surprises there. But you got to dig in. And one of the things you'll look at with the pitching staff, and when you're talking to your pitching coaches, as you see Doug Brocail there, and of course Dan Worthen is the assistant pitching coach, is what kind of improvement do we make in areas that we're really trying to improve? Well, a significant improvement in walks this season.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Jose Fernandez. Gallardo, sort of funny, I guess, given this conversation. He walked Fernandez in the 1st inning. The guy waiting on deck, Mike Trout, walked him as well. Oh, that one inside. Did that get a piece of him? No.
All kinds of questions to be had there. Did he swing? Did it hit him? I think he actually thought that that ball was going to hit him. The reaction, I think that's what his reaction was. This was kind of unusual. I think he thought that the ball hit him. He wanted to swing at it.
You talk about like anticipating contact right there. 3-2, and this one lined softly over short, and that's a base hit. Fernandez is on to begin this 4th inning.
Well, first hit of the night for the Angels, and not a bad pitch from Gallardo, but a nice job by Fernandez to take this the other way after they were working him in. A lot of times you feel like that opens the outside part of the plate, but Fernandez hung in there pretty well. He lines that one to left center.
So man on in front of Mike Trout now. Gallardo's first pitch, up and away, ball 1. I mentioned that last year Trout missed some significant time with injury. Last year was also the first time, I was surprised by this, but the first time in his career that he walked more than he struck out. He had 94 walks to 90 strikeouts. This year, he's got a shot at doing that again. He now has 118 walks, 121 strikeouts. And he's been running that pretty even most of the year. And yesterday, racked up a couple of strikeouts to upset the balance. Puts this ball out to center field. That one drops in. Fernandez around second, and now he will head to third as that one got past to Shields. That'll be a hit and then an error that allows both runners to advance. Fernandez was prepared to stop at second base, but then looked back and saw that that one somehow got past the line.
And this really does kind of prove good example of the importance of backing up your fielders. Watch Delano to Shields. Looked like he slipped a little bit with his back foot and then was unable to come up with this routine base hit as the ball is rolling toward him. But great job by Joey Gallo to make sure that he was there. It's very easy, I think, to make the assumption, yeah, it's a routine base hit. Delano de Shields is easily going to catch that. You'll see guys kind of give that half effort to back up a little bit, almost kind of just to cover themselves. But instead, Joey Gallo was all the way there like he was supposed to be. When your Little League coaches tell you to back up, that's the reason why. You got to back each other up.
Well, first base empty, and Ohtani the hitter. Ohtani lined into a double play in the first inning. And it was a ball that came off his bat 100 miles per hour on the first baseline and looked for all the world like it was headed to the right field corner for extra bases, but that man robbed him. Guzman with a tremendous play at first. Now the count 1-1. Ohtani lined into a double play last night in the third inning. And again, it was a line out down to first. Guzman snared it and then made a good throw back to second base to double off Taylor Ward.
Out on the big screen here, it says grounded into a double play.
Yeah, they missed. There's a bouncer to shortstop. Andrews comes to the plate, and they'll get the out there. A 6-2 put out as Fernandez was moving, but that ball hit hard enough that Elvis had a play. One away.
You don't see this too often with the infield back, right? It's one thing when you have the infield in and you try to cut the run off, but look where Elvis is playing. This ball was hit so hard and really not much of a jump at all by Fernandez. He was looking at the ball.
Yeah.
Right? That is weird. Like, it's one thing when you're over at third base, you got a couple of different options. You go on contact, or they tell you to see the ball through, which means you don't go anywhere until you see the ball has gotten past the infielders and goes into the outfield for a base hit. That looked like that's what the play was, but he decided to run anyway. Some bad base running. A great play by Elvis and a strong throw, but some pretty bad base running.
Ohtani hit that ball a little harder than the ball he hit in the first inning. That went 103 miles per hour. So now it's Upton who popped up in the second. Rangers lead 1-0. And now a ground ball could get Gallardo out of the inning.
Man, how huge would that be after having second and third, nobody out? Having to face these two tough hitters. And it's certainly no easy task with Upton. Upton has hit into 11 of them so far this year. He's third most on the Angels. And Gallardo has been very good at getting the double plays. How about this? Total double plays for him. He's tied a career high with 18 this year, but look at the other years and the innings. I mean, he has tied a career high with 84 and 2/3 innings. The last time he had 18 double plays, it took him 184 innings, nearly 100 more innings. Of course, that was also with the Rangers, so that's a testament to the good job that the Rangers have done up the middle, but he's got a chance to set an all-time high.
This ball down the left field line, but hooks foul. Good play by that dude down there with the glove. Upton out in front just a little bit. That ball was scalded as well.
Justin Upton has always been a good off-speed hitter. You see what he's done. 17 home runs on breaking pitches this year. That's the most in Major League Baseball.
More than half of his home runs on breaking balls. Trout at second, Ohtani at first. Gallardo's 1-2. Trout running, and that one pulled foul. Trout will head back to second base. He was bolting for third, and I didn't see Ohtani getting anywhere near the jump.
Elvis is telling him, don't ever do that again.
What are you thinking?
Well, you see where Odor is playing, and that's because of the shift with Upton, and so you'd think he could keep him close. But if Gallardo had fallen into the same holds, fallen to a routine, it's a little bit easier. Doesn't matter where the infield's playing.
Near miss right there, 2-2. Upton now with 96 home runs over the last 3 seasons. There's 30 of them this year. The 2-2 pitch, and that is outside. It's a full count. Pretty good Tuesday night crowd here tonight. And they are encouraged by the way this inning has developed. 2 men out there, the 3-2 pitch, and this one fouled back our direction. And we'll do it again. So Upton running a pretty good battle here for Giovanni Gallardo. This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat.
Upton this year only hitting 191 in 3-2 counts. Kind of surprising. Came hitting 262 on the season. Only a couple of home runs. You feel like that'd be an advantage to him. Obviously, the batting average is not going to be affected by walks. So, a bat that's not ending in a walk or a sac flight, 191. Pretty shocking.
Well, the 3-2 and a swing and a miss, strike 3. He strikes out for the second out of the inning.
That's a great job by Gallardo. You mentioned the depth of this at bat, and on pitch number 10, excuse me, number 9, he gets him. It was out of the zone, but you're a guy like Justin Upton, and you see a runner out there in scoring position, knowing that Mike Trout's going to pretty much score on any base hit. Sometimes you get a little bit anxious, and Gallardo was able to take advantage of that.
That was strikeout number 173 for Upton. And so now the 2 base runners are going to be left to Andrelton Simmons.
Be careful
Grounded
there
out last
early.
time.
He's the guy that comes out hacking. You have that long at bat. Sometimes you get a little lazy first pitch.
Hits this ball out to center field, on the run for it to Shields, and he gets to it to end the inning. Bad start, but Gallardo gets out of it with no damage done. We go to the 5th inning. And Joey Gallo hit the home run earlier. He'll lead it off when we return. In the third inning, you can take your Rangers fandom to the next level and own a piece of the game. Yeah, see how you can get everything from game-used baseballs to bases and bats, as well as a lot of autographed memorabilia. Go to TexasRangers.com/authentics to find out more. Fifth inning. Gallo with a home run in the third. It was his 40th of the year. Shoemaker out there in this fifth inning. The right-hander's first offering on the way. Outside. And 92 RBIs. That was the other piece we had talked about, was could we see Gallo get to 100 RBIs before the year is done? That's going to be a tough one. 2-0.
Well, obviously he'll need a little bit of help. Guys getting on base in front of him. You never know.
Yeah.
That run could be there. 5 games after this one. What's he need? 8 more? How many? What's
8 more, yeah. Big swing right here, and the count goes to 2-1. And then there's this tracker. We are a little fascinated with this. Last year, 41 homers, 32 singles. This year, more home runs and singles again. Only he and Mark McGwire have ever done that in consecutive years.
I don't know if anybody is more obsessed with this than Jason Stark, though. He's pretty obsessed with it.
Yeah,
Gets pretty excited about it. Jason loves the quirky stuff, right? I mean, that is one of his strengths. He's a great writer, broadcaster. When it comes to the quirky stuff, he's on a level all by himself.
Gallo strikes out here. One away in the fifth. Well, you mentioned it, just 5 games remaining as we take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. We'll wrap it up here tomorrow night. And then a late evening flight into Seattle. And Thursday through Sunday, the final series of the regular season. It'll be interesting to take the temperature of those Seattle Mariners when we get to town after now being officially eliminated from postseason contention.
Just interested in the temperature period in Seattle. That'll be a nice treat. I think it'll be a nice treat. Maybe I'm
it'll be nice. It'll be cold.
Setting myself up for misery. Just felt like it's been hot, like wherever we've gone, wherever I've been for the last, I don't know, 4 months. Something just hasn't cooled down. It's been nice here.
Chirinos plunked yet again. And Robinson has just been an epidemic this year. That's the 19th time that he has been hit by a pitch. And Carlos Gomez, who did that last year, hold the team mark, which is probably an appropriate word to use.
Now, you would think that setting the team record would put you pretty high. Well, you got to be leading the league, right? You just set a team record. No.
Well, Gomez got him there again.
Yeah, well, Gomez has been hit 21 times. Brandon Nimmo's been hit 22 times this year.
And Nimmo's making a late run there.
But what's so amazing about it is you see this one more time here with Robinson Chirinos, and he's still getting checked out over at first base. What's amazing about Nimmo, right, he's got 517 plate appearances, and he's got 22 hit by pitch. Carlos Gomez, just one behind, but with 116 less at-bats or plate appearances.
Yeah.
With 21. Derek Dietrich has 20, and not surprising, Anthony Rizzo also has 20. Anthony Rizzo stands right on top of the plate. He seems to get a little frustrated by some of those hit by pitches, but his stance is there's no room to miss in whatsoever with him, and he's going to get hit. Not intentionally, but just because of the stance.
Well, the Rangers have a base runner. And Ronald Guzman, and the hitter now at the left side of the plate. So outside of the third inning, Chirinos, the only base runner the Rangers have had. And all their traffic in the third. Noe Ramirez on our Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. He's getting ready in the Angels pen. Won the count. You see Guzman's numbers: 16 home runs and 57 RBIs. What a fantastic rookie season for Ronald Guzman. A year where the American League has turned in more than its fair share of great rookie performances. He's among the top 5 or 10 this year in the league. And I hesitate to use the word because it would, I think, carry some negative connotations. But I mean, what an incredible surprise that has been. I mean, there was no expectation that he would be with the team anywhere near as much as he has been this year. But for those 3 big injuries that happened in fairly close succession back at the early part of the year, Odor, Andrus, and Beltre were all injured. Guzman got an early call-up and then delivered. I guess that's sort of the key. 2-2.
Yeah, it was a surprise that we saw him in the big leagues with the Rangers. You mentioned how he got there, but then the fact that he was able to perform as consistently as he has. It's been a great first season for Ronald Guzman. I think a good jumping off point for what could be a very good career. He's certainly been great with the glove. The offense has been very good as well. And, you're sitting there when you're in his spot, you're working toward it, you're waiting, but you're also looking up at the roster when the season starts and you're, how's this going to work out? How am I going to, what can I do to force my way to the big leagues? Well, you get the opportunity maybe when you weren't expecting it, but he's run with it.
Chirinos edging off the bag over at first. And that one in the dirt. Good smother back there by Hudson. It's a full count. Shoemaker, there have been stretches tonight where he's been very much in command, but it seems he's bogging down a little bit here in this 5th inning.
I see the pitch count at 63. That is exactly what he threw in his last start against the A's, but it only lasted 2 2/3 innings.
Well, look at Chirinos this time.
And outside of that start in which you talked about earlier when he got hurt in March, that was on March 31st. He threw 90 pitches in that game, but since his return from the DL on September 3rd, it's been anywhere between 62 and 77 pitches. So they're being a little bit careful. They're not going to push that pitch count too far with Shoemaker.
Guzman, after a long wait, asked for time himself.
It seems like he's gotten really extra careful all of a sudden. He's slowed down his pace. He probably knows that the end is near and trying to figure out a way that he can get through this inning, and so he's been a little bit more deliberate.
And Guzman rips this one into right field. That's a base hit. Chirinos heads to second and stops there. And the Rangers have a couple of base runners in this 5th inning. Good at bat for Guzman.
Well, he was patient. Saw a lot of pitches below the zone. That one was at the bottom of the zone, and a good job by Guzzi. You see that there, the short swing, hooks this thing into right field. And hits it pretty hard. The time of that at bat felt long.
From start to finish?
Yeah, like if you were timing them, and you sit there and you go through. It was only 6 pitches, so it wasn't like it was a lot of pitches, but it just seemed like it had taken a while. He hit that ball hard, 103 miles per hour.
Yeah, I think Shoemaker, obviously, with base runners and working out of the stretch, I don't want to say becomes paralyzed in his decision making, but he really grinds it to a halt. I mean, when he's pitching with the bases empty, and he did. He had a perfect first and second. He had a perfect fourth inning. He has a pretty good idea of what he's doing and goes right after it. But boy, I'll tell you what, you put a base runner on there, and this becomes a staring contest. That one gets away, and both runners will move up on a wild pitch.
I'll take a look at this pitch here. We saw some pitches against Ronald Guzman that were intended to be down. Hudson, you might want to say he got a little bit lazy, but was not anticipating a potential ball in the dirt, maybe because the fastball's coming. He was unable to get down. Tried to back pick that ball and flat out missed it. I would guess not to Mike Scioscia's liking.
So now, second and third with one out. First base empty. Corners are in, and DeShields takes on the inside corner for strike two. Lionel laid down a beautiful bunt in the third inning. The 11th bunt single this year for him.
So this is interesting, right? We just saw this with the Angels when they were up, and we saw Elvis Andrews throw a runner out at home plate. Well, Anderson Simmons right now is playing back. He's got an unbelievable arm. Robinson Trinos does not run particularly well, so the secondary lead is going to be important. With one out, they have to make a decision. He was just sitting there having a conversation with Tony Beasley. What do you do in this spot? Do you go on contact up the middle? You go on contact, period? Probably not. But if you see a ground ball up the middle, if you feel like you got a good secondary lead, you take that chance, but know that you got to go hard, especially if it's hit to Simmons.
I think you do, right? I think if it's up the middle.
When I say up the middle, I mean between short and second base. Not up the middle as a base hit up the middle.
Right.
I mean a routine. If
No,
you
no,
go
no,
off the bat,
yeah.
That's
like
a routine ground
hitting,
ball to short, you go.
Exactly.
I think, and listen, it seems like they're conceding the run in that spot. Usually only see the middle go back if you're trying to turn two, but obviously first base is unoccupied, so there's no double play to be had.
Because I think the situation we saw earlier was one where it just so happened that the ball was hit 103 miles per hour on top of it.
Yep.
I think you have to put that pressure on the defense. If they're going to play back up the middle, if they hit it to, if Delano hits it to short or second, I'd say you're bolting.
I'm surprised they're not playing at least halfway.
Swing and a miss, and DeShields strikes out, so 2 away. That'll bring up Elvis Andrews, our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. Now, when Elvis came up in 2009, since that time, he has scored 799 runs. Only Kinsler, Robinson Cano, Miguel Cabrera, and Adam Jones have scored more since that time.
What a great time to get number 800.
Yes. Score that 800th run and pick up 3 RBIs all at the same time.
Tell you what, he's got a decent shot to pick up 2. I know there's 2 outs, but Ronald Guzman has all kinds of room for a secondary lead. They're not even remotely close to holding him on at second base. And that's one of those things you got to take advantage of. You got to be careful. I don't want to overdo it. But neither Fletcher nor Simmons right now are keeping him close. Sorry, Cowart. Look how much room Ronald Guzman has. And so you take that lead as far as you can go. Obviously, you worry about the back pick, but a good secondary lead to make sure that you score on any base hit. Or think about this, too. It's a ground ball in the infield that you would think would be an out at first. You get a good secondary lead at second base, and there ends up being an error. You want to be able to score on that one as well. Now Cowart starts to sneak in. Maybe they're listening to the broadcast in the dugout.
Yeah,
I know Mike
CJ
Scioscia said he was a huge fan of ours.
Use your inside voice. 2-0. You're projecting a little too much.
I always wonder that, obviously not now with the crowd here, but when we get here early at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, we're not that far from the field. This is one of the better views in the game for a broadcast booth. Like, can people down there hear us? Like if someone's walking around the field,
Yeah, it's like being on a lake, right?
Like, who am I talking about right now? Like, are they going to hear me? You know.
2-0. There's a strike. Yeah, there you go. This is our vantage point, and it is spectacular.
Yes.
We're close to the field, not all that high. One of the better broadcast setups in the league, largely for our vantage point, secondarily for John Reynolds.
I thought you were going to say Fitz.
And Fitz, yes, of course, Fitz. Bouncer, left side of the infield. Backhand stop by Simmons, and a true throw gets his opposite number. Shortstop on shortstop crime right there. Rangers lead 2 in scoring position. We're halfway there, 1-0. Light blonde, it's light done right. Beautiful scene outside the Big A. 1-0. Rangers on top here as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Yeah, the final season at Globe Life Park next year. Full and half season tickets are on sale now. As a 2019 season ticket holder, the great news is you secure your place in line for season tickets in the new Globe Life Field, which will open in 2020. Get your tickets at texasrangers.com/seasons or call 972-RANGERS. Okay, bottom of the order here for the Angels in the 5th inning. And Ward fouls the first one off his leg for strike 1. Taylor Ward, Kaleb Cowart, and Joe Hudson. Ward flew out to left field in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. And off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. You mentioned it earlier, CJ, that this is a team we were talking about at the time, Matt Shoemaker, who'd come back after missing a large part of the season to injury and making a 6th start tonight, but that there are guys like Taylor Ward or Joe Hudson, who's catching and going to bat this inning as well, who've gotten some opportunities here. The Angels have used 60 players.
This year?
Yeah.
What?
And that is a new franchise record. They've used 60 players already this season. Now, the Major League record for players used in a season set by the Rangers in 2014, marred by just catastrophic injury in 2014. The Rangers used 64 players. But the Angels have seen 16 guys make their big league debut this year.
See, it's a 40-man roster that you have to work with, so it's a lot of 40-man roster movement. Guys that were taken off and added. That is incredible.
There were 2 separate points this season where they had 15 players on the disabled list at the same time. Ward flies out to left field, 1 away. 15 players on the DL at the same time. And all told this year, the Angels have sent 25 different players to the disabled list. That is most in Major League Baseball. So they know a thing or two about injury. And think about it too. We mentioned all those numbers. Shohei Ohtani, the biggest thing to happen in the offseason. And one of the greatest players in the game this year is a rookie. He blew up his arm. He's having surgery in a week.
Yep.
But they managed to keep him in there as a hitter. Otherwise, throw him in the mix of all the injured players this year. I mean, what an absolute mess it has been.
They currently have 11 players on the 60-day DL. Right? Of course, you have the 10-day DL. The 60-day DL, what that does, it allows you to add somebody else to your 40-man roster. So if there's a player that's on the 60, he technically does not count against your 40-man roster. 11 players on the 60-day DL at the moment.
Quite unusual. Right? They have really struggled with injury this year. 1-1 to Cowart off the plate, 2-1. Anyway, look, there are ways you can you can frame it or look at it, and part of that is opportunity aplenty for young players or guys looking to make a mark. I mean, no manager or general manager wants to deal with that. And Mike Scioscia, this is the final year of a long contract, a 10-year contract he signed with the Angels. And there's question about his status for next year. Hard to hold the record this season against him. They are 76 and 81. And he's been here 19 years.
And in his mind, he's not done, right? He wants to continue to manage. Loves the job. There's so much work that's put into it, so much time that is put into it. He's ultra competitive.
2-2 pitch, and Cowart swings and misses, strike 3. 2 gone in the inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Rick Renner. Oh, doctor.
That's what we want to see. Not that we're rooting for one team over another. We just want to see some really competitive baseball here down the stretch. And the idea of that National League Central still being up for grabs for the Pittsburgh Pirates have been kind of a pain. They were a pain for the Brewers. We talked about that a couple days ago. I think they were, what, 5 and 14 or 6 and 13 against them this year for the Brewers. And that's why you don't look at strength of schedule. You can peek in a little bit, it's okay, but you just never know in our game. That's what's great about our game. That is the 8th inning with the Pirates leading 6-0 right now over the Cubs.
1-1 pitch. Hudson takes low and in.
Hey, one more part of that with Mike Scioscia, too. Yeah. He's only 59 years old. He's definitely got plenty of time left if he wants to do it. I mean, it's from an age standpoint, it's not like he's even, close to being near the peak as far as what we see from managers.
High pop-up. Foul ground, first base side, long run, and Guzman got out there, but then got a little twisted up. Didn't quite make that play. That's a long, long run for him.
And he was the only one that could get that, too. And you're right, he had a long way to go. This is a really difficult play for a first baseman. He had a tough decision to make here, whether or not, you see how he started with the glove up high and then kind of changed his mind and wanted to go with the lower glove and kind of the basket catch, but that was a last-minute decision. That is really difficult to do for the big man. It was a great effort.
So Hudson stays in there, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That one off the plate, so a full count.
We keep mentioning, of course, that Joe Hudson is a rookie. He's 27 years old. It's a cool opportunity for him. Finally get a chance in the big leagues.
Bouncer, third base. Profar has it. Slings it across the diamond in time, and Hudson retired. It's a 1-2-3 for Gallardo. He continues to spin a good one here tonight. Rangers lead it 1-0. GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer today. Well, 1-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Rangers on top. And we get a new pitcher in the ball game for the Angels. Noe Ramirez checking in.
Yeah, that ERA a little bit high, but he's done a really nice job. 93 strikeouts in his 80 2/3 innings. Very respectable. 237 opponents batting average against. It's a fastball, slider, and changeup for Ramirez. The fastball, not a hard one. This is a guy that relies on that lower arm angle, some funkiness to the delivery. Just averages 90 miles an hour. You'll see the slider at 78, the changeup at 85. But it's movement, it's deception, and you saw the strikeout total, and it's been very effective for Ramirez.
Well, he will get the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Rangers in this 6th inning. Chu, Beltre, and Odor. 1-0 the score. The only run tonight coming on the Joey Gallo home run in the 3rd. The next run will be coming on this Shin-Soo Choo home run here in the 6th.
Oh.
He takes high for a ball.
Tying a career high.
Yeah. The time is right.
Ramirez has allowed 15 home runs this year. I like how you think, Raymond. I like how you take the numbers, analyze the situation, and put together some analysis. Like a pro.
I'm just a guesser. Chu is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts so far tonight. I think excited to see somebody else in there. 1-1 from Ramirez. Off the plate, 2-1.
And the thing about Ramirez, those 15 home runs, the most allowed, tied for the most allowed by a reliever. And I say a reliever because I put air quotes around it. Do you know who was also allowed 15 home runs as a reliever this year?
Foul away, 2-2. Okay, so it's got to be.
Gave you the air quotes. Good hint.
Right, so it's got to be somebody who has come in, who's really a starter, but been used as the primary a couple of times. Is it specifically in relief appearances that this person
As a reliever. Home runs as a reliever.
I have no idea.
Ryan Yarbrough. He's got 13 wins as a reliever. He's also allowed 15 home runs.
He's going to set like all kind of reliever records.
Yeah, he is. Well, I think he's tied for most wins. He's got 15 total wins for someone who's made less than 10 starts in a season. Now, Ramirez did allow 1 home run as a starter. He had 1 start this year. And they used him as an opener. He threw 1 inning.
Foul tip into the glove by Chu. And that strikeout begins the 6th inning.
So with Adrian Beltre coming to the plate, every time we come here to Anaheim and play the Angels, we always talk about these 2 guys, Adrian Beltre, Albert Pujols, 2 guys that will be going to the Hall of Fame and 2 guys that will be first ballot Hall of Famers. I feel pretty comfortable saying that because you look at these numbers. Better than 3,000 hits for both of these guys. Nearly 500 home runs for Adrian, over 600 for Albert. And then, of course, he's been such a great RBI man over the course of his career. Pretty impressive to look at those 2 guys side by side.
Beltre is grounded out to short, lined out to 3rd so far tonight. Did not play yesterday, got the day off. And he hits this ball well out to left field, but Upton is there. And there are 2 away. We're looking ahead to the Seattle series. And just looking at their rotation and how they're planning to use guys, and you know, the way things fall, it appears as if Felix Hernandez will not pitch against the Rangers in that series.
So his season, did he start yesterday or tonight?
I think he's.
When we were there, right, there was the conversation about him making another start. We showed him in the bullpen, but he was scheduled to make a start. Was that supposed to be today?
It was, well, it was speculated that it might have been on Monday, and then I think it got pushed back. So now the count to Odor is 1-0. So then the question becomes if, I don't know, if there's any way to get Hernandez to pitch in that series, get Beltre in there, get those 2 good friends who've been so entertaining head to head. Get them to face one another at least one more time. This ball hit hard and through and into center field. A base hit for Odor, his first of the night. That one through the shift.
Good job here by Ruge. He's always got to deal with these shifts. You see that leg kick, foot down in plenty of time, and he laces that ball into center field. Look where Simmons is now. Remember Little League night, what we talk about. What did Dr. Defense take us through?
The jump?
The jump. Andrus and Simmons is, we talk about all the time, probably the best defensive shortstop in the game. He didn't jump. He looked pretty flat-footed there. We'll take it.
Profar 0 for 2 so far today with a couple of strikeouts. Take one outside here. Kind of a cool story too about Felix Hernandez, and we'll get into it more when we're in Seattle, but a guy who came here from Venezuela and has had a great career with the Mariners, and then today was finally sworn in as a citizen of the United States. He passed his final interview on Monday, today sworn in. And now a citizen of the United States, and his teammates really saluted him today. Really kind of cool stuff for a guy who appreciates very sincerely the opportunity to be an American. And it's just really kind of a fun and cool story with King Felix. So it'll be fun to see him again this weekend up in Seattle. First, so the Rangers have a little work to do here. Ahead 1-0 tonight. Profar takes just off the plate, 3-0.
I see Ramirez a little frustration on that pitch, but I mentioned he's got such great movement on his fastball. That one ran right off the plate. Now, you get a little bit more horizontal than that downward movement, at least on that one. And ideally, when you have that kind of run, you prefer it go down a little bit, but that one stayed flat right out of the strike zone.
There's a strike on the inside corner. 3-1 the count.
This is a really good example of why you can't just look at the numbers, radar reading, spin rate, that kind of stuff. His fastball's got a little bit of jump to it. Even though that one was just at 90 miles an hour, it's got some really good life. And the numbers this year, the strikeout numbers back it up.
Hernandez, by the way, scheduled to start tomorrow for Seattle.
All right.
So really kind of,
yep,
frankly, screws up everything.
Well, he could come back in relief on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that would really have to be well coordinated between Scott Service and Don Wakamatsu to make that happen.
3-1 pitch, and Profar sends this one in the air down the left field line. Foul and just out of everybody's reach.
Did that police officer almost run into the ball?
I think it almost caught up to him.
Yeah, I think he would have been fine right where he was. It was like a heat-seeking baseball. I knew exactly where the black helmet was.
Back to your corner.
But that's tough, right? So if that's where he is set up as a security guard, you're not reading the ball off the bat, right?
Well, that's true.
So let's just take it easy on him a little bit. I thought you were a little rough on him there.
Believe me, I would not be rough on that guy right there. 3-2 pitch. And this one grounded to short. Backhand pick by Simmons. He throws out Profar, and the inning is done. Rangers leave another man. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still just 1-0. Inning. We'll get the top of the order here. And you can show your spirit year-round. Stock up on Rangers gear. Now's the time. You can go to either of a couple of team stores. Go to the one in Fort Worth at Sundance Square, or check out the majestic Grand Slam gift shop inside Globe Life Park. Hours in store information available online, texasrangers.com/retail. Gallardo, a perfect 5th inning, goes to work here in the 6th. And Cole Calhoun 0 for 2 today, so that means now 2 hits. I hate to keep beating the same drum, but 2 hits in his last 49 at-bats. That's what we would call a scuffle. 1-1. And I was interested last night, and you can tell me, you're smarter at this than I am, but 9th inning last night, we were tied at 4, I believe was the score at the time. There were 2 out and nobody on for the Angels, and Calhoun was coming up. I know a lot of thought is like, hey, guys can run into one, you can win a game on the one swing, etc. But wouldn't that be a time, and again, if a guy can't bunt, I get it. I guess it's why I advocate that guys, everybody should be able to bunt. But Rangers would have given him a bunt at that time.
Is it first and second, nobody out?
2 outs, nobody on.
Oh, try to bunt for a base hit.
Just get somebody on base and get some of your better hitters up to the plate. Trout was waiting on deck.
And that was against Chris Martin, right, at the time?
Yeah, the 9th inning, yeah. So I guess just kind of throwing it out there a little late to make the observation, I suppose. But I know it seems like a certain school of thought that says no one really should ever bunt under any.
Well, bunt for a hit. I mean, bunt for a hit whenever you want. I don't think for the crew that is against sacrifice bunting, I don't think they have an issue with the attempted bunt for a hit.
Calhoun, a guy who 19 home runs this year, and in the past has also proven to have good powers. So I would get the argument too. Look, tie game. I mean, he could still run into one.
No bunt hits this season, which is kind of surprising when you think about a guy that has scuffled. No bunt hit attempts either.
Hits this ball hard out to the alley in right center field, and that'll be extra bases. Great sliding stop by DeShields. And Calhoun with a leadoff double in the 6th inning. Which then begs the question, if a guy can hit like that, why would you ever have a bunt?
Yeah. So interesting here to watch Delino DeShields. That ball, as you mentioned, finishes middle in. But watch the play here. And why is it important? He ended up not throwing Cole Calhoun out. That wasn't it. It's the idea of getting that ball in quickly, because had it gone to the wall, pretty good chance it's a triple at that point.
Sort of surprising to me that you'd have a guy like Calhoun trying to bunt in that spot.
Safe to say you won't be taking over for Mike Scioscia next year.
Well, he's the tying run now in scoring position. Jose Fernandez, a walk and a base hit, and chops this one to second. Odor will settle for the out at first.
Like how Rugi even gave it a look.
Loved it.
You don't see it. I can't remember a time where you saw a second baseman playing in a routine second base position, throwing the ball to third because the runner was advancing on a ground out. All right, Manager Dave, how careful are you here? Really not a lot of opportunity with Ohtani either. I mean, pick your poison here in the 6th inning, but this could be a pretty critical part of the game. Are you careful? Maybe pitch around Mike Trout?
Well, not really, right? Because there we go. They're going to put him on.
Yeah. You had a chance. You would have looked like a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much tried to lay it up to you. It's like a perfect bounce pass as you were going to the basket.
Here's the thing.
I could drop the ball.
I could plank that one as well. Don Wakamatsu heading out there now, and that will do it for Giovanni Gallardo. Our Who's In, Who's Out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burgers. So Gallardo is out. And coming in, Martin Perez to face Shohei Ohtani when we return. 1-0, but he leaves the ball game with men on the corners, 1 out. And Martin Perez coming in relief.
Yeah, pretty interesting. We saw Martin back on the 23rd make that start against Seattle. It was just a couple of days ago, and he threw the ball extremely well in that outing. Now, the overall numbers can be a little bit misleading. Martin went into the bullpen, and he did a really nice job, and he did a great job against lefties, which I think is obviously really important in this spot as he comes on to face Shohei Ohtani. As a reliever, left-handed hitters went 0 for 14 against Martin Perez.
Ohtani has blistered 2 balls tonight. Fouls that one away, but he has accounted for 3 outs. Lined into a double play, and then hit a ball so hard to short that the Rangers were able to throw Jose Fernandez out at the plate for what would be the first out of the inning.
And it's really difficult to double up on a standard ground ball double play, although we did see one yesterday, and that was just the second time he's done that all year.
Fouls that one away, and it's 0-2.
I like that pitch right there. That's a pitch that you have to throw with a lot of conviction, as you see the base runners, Mike Trout, Cole Calhoun. But watch this pitch from Martin Perez. You and I are always kind of noticing how Ohtani kind of bails out a little bit as he swings, and so you want to be careful going in. But if you can get it down and in with some life on it, he's got the good 2-seam fastball, you can get those kind of foul tips.
Hit his 21st home run of the season last night. He's done big damage against the Rangers this year. And he takes outside 1-2. Martin Perez in relief.
Well, we know Martin was happy to get that start. The idea of getting back into the rotation is something that he desires. But this is a pretty fun moment right here for him, for a guy that hasn't spent a lot of time in the bullpen, to go after Ohtani in this huge spot.
Bounced down the third baseline, just foul, and that one cracked Ohtani's bat.
So I mentioned Martin Perez and what he did as a reliever against lefties. Look at this difference. 319 as a starter, and as a reliever, it is absolute domination. 0 for 14, the 4 strikeouts, no walks in there. He's retired every single lefty that he has faced as a reliever. Now, this is one of the biggest tests he runs into, leading by 1. Runners at first and third, and a really good left-handed hitter in Shohei Ohtani, who has struggled against left-handed pitching, hitting just .211 this year.
Ball and 2 strikes. Here it comes. 95 miles per hour and just a smidge low. Perez readies again. This one out to center field, drops in, base hit. The tying run scores. Trout heads to third, and Ohtani has evened the game with a bloop single to center field.
It sounded like he may have broke his bat again. Look at this pitch from Martin Perez. Yeah, he did break his bat. It went in 2 pieces. Very good location for Martin Perez. That's a tough break. Again, against a tough hitter, he kept the bat in the zone long enough to make it happen, but Martin did his job. He executed good pitches, broke a bat.
Well, unfortunately, that one had just enough to get to center field. Trout at third now, Ohtani at first. And now Upton, who's popped up and struck out. Run charged to Giovanni Gallardo's line. Great night tonight for Gallardo.
He threw the ball well.
Still responsible for Trout. Bouncing ball, third base. Profar deep at third. Throws to first. Pulls Guzman off the base. Everybody is safe. And the Angels lead 2-1.
Well, they were not going to turn 2 anyway. This is a really tough ball to try to turn 2. Watch that big hop. The only way it was going to happen is if Profar could get it in the air. He couldn't, and then he rushed his throw. Watch the low arm angle and watch this thing just kind of sail on him. Nothing that Ronald Guzman could do.
The error by Profar now sets up 2 base runners with 1 out. And it's a throwing error again for Jurickson, and that has been the bugaboo this year. He's had some trouble defensively and typically with the throws. Andrelton Simmons bounces into a lot of double plays. He's done it 16 times this year. And this is the guy, Martin Perez, might be able to exploit here to get out of the inning.
18th throwing error for Jurickson Profar this year. 9 of those that come at shortstop. That is the 8th at third base. He also had 1 earlier this year at second base.
2 runs across. Angels lead. It's 1-1. Simmons up there to swing it. Not a guy to take a lot of walks. Not a guy who's going to strike out a lot. He can make contact, and he does. And to that end, he does get into his fair share of double plays. Ohtani the man at second, Upton the man at first. Takes that one as well. 2-1. There's a bouncer up the middle. Andrews has it, but he's met by Odor, and everybody's safe. An impromptu wrestling match out there behind second base. And there is no play to be had.
Well, this is certainly something you do not see every day, and this is one of those deals. This is what shifts will cause sometimes, and as soon as hardly ground ball, great play by Elvis Andrews, but Ruben Odor also going after that ball. I mean, it was split right between them both. Not a lot you can do about it.
Fancy meeting you here.
You can't tell a guy, hey, I'm going to die for him. It's full extension by Elvis Andrews. Ruben Odor knows that it's going to be tough to get to that ball. And just an unusual set of circumstances and a really tough break for Martin Perez. The broken bat base hit, the error, and now that infield base hit.
So that will do it for Martin Perez. Don Wakamatsu digs deeper into that bullpen. For the Angels, bases are loaded, and Eddie Butler called upon here.
Let's see the right-hander, game number 29 right now for Eddie Butler, but he comes in a big spot with the bases loaded and just 1 out. And for Butler so far this season, he has inherited 18 runners. 5 of them have scored, so that's a 28% score rate, a little bit better than league average. But the reason you want him in this spot is because he's done a nice job getting ground balls. And so keeping the ball on the ground, key here. 53% for Eddie Butler so far this season.
A strike pitch to Ward inside. And it is 1-1. Now, technically, a blown save. Martin Perez. Not the type of thing you really consider so much a blown save, but it is technically a blown save in this inning. Just the 14th this year for the Rangers. Fewest in Major League Baseball.
And really just some tough breaks, right? I mean, he made good pitches to Shohei Ohtani. He really grinded out that at bat. Now we know Martin is not a huge strikeout pitcher, right? That's not what his game is, 5.4 strikeouts per 9 this year, but he got the weak contact that he was looking for. Broken bat, ground ball, 2 ground balls, but unfortunately none of that turned in any outs.
Two and one the count to Ward. And I can, look, the Rangers haven't won as many games as they would have liked. They haven't saved, therefore, as many games as some other teams. And so you would say, well, naturally they wouldn't have as many blown saves. The reality is their save percentage this year is among the highest in Major League Baseball. So they've blown the fewest saves, and they've saved a very high percentage of the opportunities. 3-1, and that is ball 4. Ward walks, and another run scores. Angels lead 3-1.
Well, a couple of things that we've been talking about tonight that the Rangers have done well. One, not blowing saves, even though it's a pretty tough spot to come in. But then the other was the walks, right? We mentioned that earlier. It's been a great run here lately for the Rangers. Third best walk rate since 2000 for them. But there are now 4 walks in this game. 1 intentional for Ranger pitching. But that obviously was a pretty big one.
Doug Rocaille makes a visit here. Not a pitching change, but a moment maybe to have a word with Butler. Three to 1 the score. And some damage obviously done this inning, but it's still certainly a game well within reach. The key here, obviously, is to make sure that no further damage is done. The 8 and 9 hitters are coming.
Just mentioned those blown saves, and you say, well, okay, well, there's a lack of leads. Well, the San Francisco Giants are not having a great season. They lead Major League Baseball in blown saves. 29. It's the Nationals and the Rangers now that only have 14.
I believe the Angels, as a point of comparison, they've blown like 27.
Yep, 26. They're tied for 4th.
And what do they have? They've it's almost like a 50-50. They've got like 32, 33 saves.
Yep. In
that neighborhood. I mean, when you're saving just a handful more than you're blowing, that cannot be good. One strike pitch. High fly ball, left field. Gallo has a great arm. Upton tags. He'll head to the plate. And the throw cut off. It's a sac fly by Cowart. And it's 4-1 Angels. Two away. Well, the first 2 runs of the inning charged to Giovanni Gallardo. The last 2 runs charged to Martin Perez. And with 2 gone, here comes Joe Hudson. He is 0 for 2. There's a strike. So 9th batter of the inning. An inning that began with Gallardo out there after 5 scoreless frames. He had allowed just 2 hits. Yada, yada, yada. It's 4-1 Angels. One out to right center field, but positioned well. The Shield's able to get to it. Inning over. 4 runs in for the Angels. And they leave a couple. We go to the 7th inning. Getting late. All of a sudden, Joey Gallo will lead it off when we return.
T-Mobile, and you might remember this. Joey Gallo hit an absolute bomb back in the third inning to dead center field, and that was home run number 40 for him. That one went 413 feet for Joey Gallo. That now makes back-to-back seasons in which he has hit 40 home runs. Congratulations to Joey, but we need you to do it again. We need some more.
You're not done yet, hopefully. So, 7th inning, and Williams-Harris has come on here for the Angels.
You see 12 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings here so far for the left-hander, and while he'd like to see that ERA down a little bit, doesn't matter as much. What he really needs to get down, the batting average to lefties so far, 389. He's done a nice job against righties, 229, but lefties have been the issue so far for Jerez. Now, he's got a good fastball, averages 95. You'll see a slider, you'll see a changeup, and a split finger as well. We'll see if he challenges Joey Gallo with that 95 to 96 mile an hour fastball.
Gallo 1 for 2. Struck out his last time, and the pitch from Harris. This one hit hard on the ground to second base. Wow. Cowart right there, one away. Okay, let's take a moment now. Check in again with the folks over at Kia. One out here, and Robinson Chirinos comes to the plate, single, and hit by a pitch. First pitch from Harris. And that one in there for a strike. 96 miles per hour.
All right, so what do you think was hit harder? The Joey Gallo home run or the Joey Gallo ground out?
I think you're trying to lead me to something, but I'll go with the home run.
That's incorrect. 108 on the homer, 111 on that ground ball.
This ball up the middle. Nice stop by Simmons. Spins and makes the throw. Of course he did. 6-3 put out, 2 away.
Just such a good defensive shortstop as we take a look at this replay and watch Andrelton Simmons ranging to his left. I tell you what, though, I mean, he started again, hands on the knees, not moving. He's got the great athletic ability to make up for it. You see it right here, and spins and throws. And who are we to tell Andrelton Simmons how he should be preparing himself pre-pitch? I don't know. I'd love to hear Mark McLemore tell me, does he get an extra half a step if he's in the proper position? I got to believe that he would. I guess when you have that kind of range, it just never shows up. Not even a flinch.
Yeah, I'm interested by that. I mean, obviously, to the point you've made, he knows what he's doing. 0-2 the count.
So say the pre-pitch movement that we showed you during that Little League night is really important unless you have Andrelton Simmons range. Then you don't have to do it.
Strike 3, and Harris with a really impressive 7th inning. Rangers go quietly, stand and stretch here tonight with the Angels leading 4-1.
To 1 as we welcome you back. Game 2 of this 3-game series, and the pitching rotation got altered today. We know now the final 5, and Martin Perez will be a part of that final 5. He will be taking the place of Mike Minor. That's why Perez did not see a ton of action tonight. Mike Minor will not get his last start of the season for no other reason that they wanted to end him on a high note. They felt like his innings count was right about where they wanted it to be, and they just didn't feel the need to push him that extra start. He had 77 and 2/3 innings in 2017, more than double that here in 2018. And when you look at what he was able to do in the second half of the season, they really feel like that's something for him to build on to head into 2019. And talking to Mike before today's game, he said, look, I understand the decision. I feel good. I feel like this is a good launching point for me for next year. His goal next year is 200 innings. It's a lofty one, but he feels like it's one that if he handles things right in the offseason and if they manage things well throughout the season next year, it's a number he can get to.
You love hearing guys talk about that, and it's a smart move at this point, I think, to back off a little bit with Mike Minor. It's very safe to say that this season has been a huge success for him, and his return to the rotation has been a really good one. But the idea, I think, now of backing off, he did a great job of holding that velocity, which was something to keep an eye on. And we highlighted the slider in his last game and how good the slider has been. I think it was over his last 8 or 9 starts compared to the beginning of the season. That has only gotten better, so good time to back off a little bit and go into the offseason looking back at this year as a huge success.
Well, Zach Curtis is the new hurler here for the Rangers. Saw 3 different pitchers last inning. Curtis gets a clean start to the 7th. And he falls behind 3-0 to Cole Calhoun.
So this has been the issue. We just showed you those numbers for Zach Curtis, the walks. Not where he wants them to be, obviously. And so as we get near the end of the season, very important for him to be aggressive and fill up the strike zone.
And he'll take ball 4. So Calhoun on a 4-pitch walk to begin the 7th inning. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in again with Rick Renner. Well, I suppose we'll find out in a matter of weeks whether or not they're the most complete team in baseball. But the Astros certainly, we'd say this much, they're a really good one. Jose Fernandez now with a man on and nobody out here in the 7th inning. Who do you think the most complete team is?
I tell you what, they're pretty close. They're going to be right up there. I think the Red Sox are pretty close as well. Certainly the 2 best teams in the American League, the ones that you would have the most confidence in on paper. It doesn't mean that the Yankees or the Oakland A's or the Cleveland Indians can't make a run. They're all capable of doing it. I don't know if there's a team in the National League that jumps out. We'll see. I think the Indians are probably that team that maybe people are sleeping on because you look at the win total. They're going to win their division easily, even though they'll have the least amount of wins of the 5 teams that are going to the postseason in the American League. Just 88 wins for the Indians right now. The Oakland A's have 95 in a tougher division.
Right.
And they got to go to a wild card game. It's unfortunate, I think. I don't like that.
You don't like that?
I don't, no. I'd rather I know we have divisions and divisional races, and those are great. But in the current format of 5 teams are going to the postseason, I think the first top 3 teams go to a series. Teams 4 and 5 battle it out for the wild card. Which in this scenario would be the Cleveland Indians and the Oakland A's right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, you know, just sort of off the top here, why I don't like that.
Do they do it in hockey?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Or basketball?
Yeah, what?
Cricket.
Yeah, I mean, in basketball, it's just, you know, it's your seed, your top 8 seed. Where exactly are you in the seeding? So yeah, it doesn't matter. Divisions. Uh-oh, in the dirt. Runner off first a little bit, and the throw back down to first gets him. Calhoun picked off. Trying to take that little secondary lead, and he's the first down of the inning.
A really heads-up play here by Robinson Chirinos. You're going to see this ball in the dirt. Calhoun, you know what he did there? He crossed over instead of shuffled, and that's ultimately what cost him right there. When you talk about a secondary lead, you see the shuffle there. Watch, as soon as he crossed over and realized that he couldn't go, he was done. And he started to make that aggressive step, and that's a nice job by Chirinos to get that ball down there quickly.
Three-two pitch, and a little nubber back to the mound, and it's kicked quickly by Curtis. He recovers and throws out Fernandez for out number 2. Added some excitement to that one, but got it done. 2 away.
Well, this could have got an ugly, but it did not. You see Curtis there and off the end of the glove. He recovers nicely, makes a good strong throw. A lot of times you'll see pitchers start to panic a little bit in these spots and rush to throw and throw it away, but Curtis does not.
CJ, I have evaluated the American League and your idea.
All right.
I think I like it. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to take your idea and maybe just extend it a little further, and that is to say that Cleveland, if they finish with 88 wins, let's say they don't win any more games, they finish with 88 victories, and Tampa Bay gets a couple more wins, they finish with 89, would you be willing to take 3 teams out of
the
American League East and nobody out of the Central?
Yeah, that's correct. I like the scenario better if we had a fully balanced schedule. I think then it just makes it fair. I mean, divisional play to me just isn't that important. I just think that it's not as necessary as maybe it once was.
Well, I mean, it does mess everything up if we do your plan, the
Yeah.
CJ initiative, as it is now known.
Yep.
With the schedules the way they're set, because
That's what Rob Manfred calls it.
because Cleveland playing the preponderance of their games against that substandard division, ostensibly they should have a lot more wins.
Yes.
But so they would definitely have to tweak the scheduling a little bit. I mean, basically what you're talking about then is just going to one league of 15 teams and forget the divisions.
Yep. And a balanced schedule.
Yep.
No natural rivalries. I'll give you 6 interleague games.
Wait a minute,
and you'd be lucky that you get those. Just be grateful that you're getting your 6. Take them and walk away. Because I got no problem dropping it to 0.
Suddenly you've taken quite the hard line on this. You need to calm down a little bit. This ball popped up into short center field. And handled by DeShields. The inning is done. All right, everybody calm down. We're going to the 8th inning. It's 4-1.
Eighth inning, and it's going to bring us to our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. Delino DeShields showing off the wheels. We saw this bunt earlier in the game, and he reached that sprint speed of 31.0 feet per second. That's nearly 7 feet per second quicker than league average. And then some defense today. The catch probability, 32%. Well, that's going to get you 4 stars, Delino DeShields, so congratulations on those. That is our Southwest Airlines player breakdown. What do you do with all those stars?
I don't know how that works. I think you probably cash them in at the end of the day for stuffed animal or something like that.
He has got 8 4-star catches. Wow. That's 32 stars. He's got 5 5-star catches. That's 25. He's got 57 stars. They should be on his helmet. Like football. He should have, what did I say, 57? How many stars?
Yeah, you said 57.
Stick them on his helmet.
Interesting idea. We'll put that in the file. DeShields will lead things off here in the 8th inning. Meanwhile, the Angels making some changes here defensively. Sherman Johnson takes over at first base, and Blake Parker is the new hurler.
It's been a good year for Blake Parker. The ERA, the strikeouts per innings, it's fastball, curveball, and split. And for Parker, fastball's been averaging 92 miles an hour so far this season. He's been better against righties, 229, than lefties. Lefties have hit him at a 271 clip this year.
Parker's 2-0, and that one is upstairs. 3 balls and no strikes. It's a 3-run game. Rangers got their run in the 3rd. And outside of that 3rd inning, they've had precious few opportunities. Catches a corner. It's 3-1. Lino with a bunt single today, 1 for 3. Rangers yesterday came back to tie the ball game late. They scored a run in the 9th inning on a 2-out pinch hit single by Elvis Andrus to force extra innings, only to then lose in 11. The Shield sends this one high in the air out to right field, and Calhoun is there. 1 away. Here comes Andrus. Well, they announced a crowd tonight, 36,308, and many of whom have slipped out the back door.
Be curious if they could compare and figure out the Ohtani impact on their attendance this year. There are a few players that are real difference makers in revenue for an organization. Mike Trout is certainly one. But Shohei Ohtani, the economic impact, I think, for the Angels is one I'd be interested in. I walked by the team store today, and it was like 5:30. It was still early. I mean, the game was still an hour and a half away, but the gates were open. And there's a lot of people in there buying Ohtani gear. Seen a lot of Japanese fans here at the game. Certainly very excited to see him. Curious about that part. I mean, so definitely it's a revenue plus situation for the Angels, right? But whatever it was, less than $3 million that they had to sign him. He makes the minimum salary. It's incredible.
It is a ridiculous financial boon for them. There's no doubt in these first couple of years. It'll be interesting to see when, you know, contract time comes and how much he commands, how much they pay, etc. But regardless, I mean, it has been a game changer of sorts here. Andrus hits this ball hard out to left center field. That one will 1-hop, not 2-hop the warning track. And Elvis to second base with a 1-out double.
Well, Elvis got a hold of this one. This is solid swing. Ball that was supposed to be down and away stayed up, maybe outer half, but there's Elvis getting it out front. But just absolutely drilled this thing. You'd think 2 hops, I thought 1. Yeah, 1 hop. Smoked it.
So now out of scoring position for Chu. Oh, this is just a little bit high. No, I've always wondered, is there additional television or media revenue for a team like NHK televises the games?
I don't know if that's an MLB package that they have with them. I would have to believe. Well, you know, I'm not sure, actually.
I'll have to ask Margaret tomorrow.
And the idea that NHK would pay the Angels specifically?
Yeah.
Or is that a deal that's negotiated through Major League Baseball to then either carry our feeds, which they do sometimes, right? Certainly with Darvish and even South Korea for Chu. We've talked about that before, where they're calling the game off of the Fox Sports Southwest broadcast, but then also you have NHK where they'll put their own specific broadcasts on. So I don't know. There's definitely dollars involved, though. That is for sure.
Chu's had a tough night tonight. 3 strikeouts. Yeah, that's a rare one for him. Well, the strikeout numbers have been pretty significant this year. 2-2 the count on Chu. It's now at 154 strikeouts for the year. Stays 2-2.
They mentioned how rare it is for Chu. He does have 2 4-strikeout games this year, but just 8 games of 4 or more strikeouts in his entire career, which is pretty unbelievable when you start thinking about how long he has been in the big leagues. This is his 1,466th game of his career, and only 8 times has he struck out 4 or more times. He does have 1 5-strikeout game. That happened back in 2014 against the Astros.
Well, his 3 strikeouts tonight set a career high for him. He had previously struck out 151 times. That was back in 2009. And surpasses that number tonight. This one in the dirt, and it's a full count. It's a fascinating guy to talk hitting with, though.
Oh, yeah.
I spent a little time with him today talking about, close pitches and counts like this where it's 3-2. And there are people who advocate that if the pitch is close, that you're smarter to not swing. Because if you feel like it's like a 50-50 shot, well, a 50-50 shot to get on base, you have to take that 3-2 pitch. And he's swinging, pulls it down the first baseline, and a high hop to Johnson makes for an easy play. Chu retired for round number 2.
It's an interesting way to look at it, but it's also got some accuracy to it. And then the question becomes, well, what's the situation? Are the runners in scoring position? Is it a close game? Who's behind you? Is this your team's best chance to maybe get that next run across the board? Is it an important run? Those are all questions that you have to somewhat ask yourself, not when the pitch is being delivered, but as you approach the at-bat and going through the scenario. Can I be a little bit more patient right now? Do I need to be aggressive? Should I be expanding my strike zone to try to get that run in?
Beltre 0 for 3 today, and he takes a strike. I think Adrian was bending away from a breaking ball there. Didn't like the look of that one. 14 home runs this year for Beltre, 7 of them in the month of September. And he holds off 1-1. Active career hits leader. More hits than any foreign-born major league player in history. 1-1. Yeah, this one popped up first base side. Johnson over, and that one beyond his reach. So where is Adrian on the all-time hit list right now? Well, he trails Cal Ripken Jr. by 22 hits. Nat Lajoie a good bit ahead of him than Eddie Murray and Willie Mays. And then you're starting to talk top 10 all-time. One-two pitch, and that one is outside.
Well, that's the thing, right? We've had so much fun trying to do that and look at the seasons and what could be. How short was he at Willie Mays?
A little over 100. He's about 120 maybe.
Yeah, he's got 114 this year. And, of course, he missed some time. That's only in 114 games,
Yeah.
415 at-bats. And you would say, yeah, a full year or something close to it, not even a full year. He could be in the top 10. And we've talked about this, and Emily's talked about this. These are not the things that matter to Adrian Beltre.
No.
They matter to us.
A lot.
I'd like to see it.
The idea of being in the top 10
Yeah, all time in hits.
of anything in the history of the game. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that is the type of thing that does drive some guys. It does not drive Beltre. Inside, that one gets away. And not far enough to get Andrews home from third base. It's a full count.
I mean, listen, for me, that would be, you could say I got a guy out. I faced Adrian once years ago, before I even knew who he was, only because I saw it on paper. I could say I got a guy out in the top 10 all time.
Also, that's where we are with
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
you need him to play another season to get to the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that I could say that I got 3 of the guys in the top 10 in hits out.
Oh!
Oh, my.
Who were the other two?
Well, you can figure that out.
Babe Ruth.
That's correct. And Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron.
Oh, Derek Jeter, Paul Molitor.
You really are old, man. Beltre about to see the 8th pitch of this at bat. Andrews at third, 2 away. Rangers trail by 3. Parker delivers, and this one bounced left side of the infield. Long throw for Andrelton Simmons. It's in time, and the inning is done. Last of the 8th coming, with the Angels leading the Rangers 4-1.
It was a big 4th inning for the Angels, excuse me, 6th inning, where they were able to put 4 on the board. The Shohei Ohtani broken bat hit, then this Andrelton Simmons broken bat hit, that infield ground ball. There was also the error that we showed you there from Profar, and then the walk from Eddie Butler, and then finally the sacrifice fly. A bunch of little things going on with the Angels in that inning. They were able to put 4 on the Rangers, and that's been it. We've only had 2 innings in which we have seen runs come across the board. The 4 in the 6th, and the Rangers' lone run came on the Joey Gallo home run back in the 3rd inning.
Well, C.D. Pelham comes on here, becomes the 5th pitcher of the night for the Rangers.
It's a fun matchup. Power left-handed arm from Pelham. He's done a nice job with his 6 strikeouts in 6 innings so far. He gets to face Shohei Ohtani. Fastball for Pelham this year has averaged 97 miles per hour. And even though we're kind of, I don't know if we're getting numb to the high velocities just yet, but we're getting pretty close.
Very
but
close.
With the lefties, maybe still not as much. I'm not going to say that the righties throwing 98 are a dime a dozen, but there's a lot of them. We don't see nearly as many left-handers.
Oh, that is quite the swing by Ohtani.
That is fun. And that's a good spot to go, up and into Ohtani with that kind of velocity. And 97, that is by him.
Pelham's 2-1. And a bouncer down to first baseline foul.
I'd love to see him, if he could locate something on the outer third, that slider, if he could keep it nice and tight, down and away, he could probably finish off Shohei Ohtani with a strikeout. Now we know Martin Perez made a pretty good pitch down and away, and Ohtani was able to hit that broken bat base hit that we just showed you back in the 6th inning. But this is a little bit more power stuff coming out of that left-handed arm, and it does appear that Robinson Trinos wants to see the slider.
2-2. Pulls that one foul as well.
Now take a look at Robinson, where he is set up. He sat middle. He wasn't necessarily looking for that sweeping breaking ball, but look at every single pitch so far from Pelham. They have all been in, all 5 pitches, in or just in off the plate. He can get one away. And Robinson now wants the fastball away. Might be able to do this.
Oh, this one towards shortstop, and a quick throw to first just in time. Ohtani gets down that line so quickly. And by the way, he needs to maybe check in with a new bat manufacturer.
Yep. Balsa doesn't hold up very well against 98. You might want to go to the maple, maybe some harder ash. So they were trying to go away. This ball finished up and in, which is pretty amazing. Now, this was a pretty close play. Ohtani didn't like it. Look what he trying to go down and away, ended up going up and in. You get the kind of power stuff. You can afford to miss your spots once in a while. The Angels decided not to challenge this, and it's probably a smart move.
Yep. Nothing there to challenge. He was definitely out.
You don't see too much emotion from Ohtani.
Justin Upton. And this one line foul.
How about
strike one? Oh, come on now.
How late he was on that fastball up and in. Did a nice job of hitting his spot. He could stay there, potentially bury an off-speed pitch down back foot if he can. We showed you earlier the home runs for Justin Upton this year. 17 of the 30 have come on off-speed pitches.
Way inside with that one. 1-1. Pelham sets and the pitch popped up. 98 miles per hour. Upton couldn't handle it. Yeah, good job by Guzman and foul ground, 2 away. Guzman looked a little like you wandering back to the hotel last night.
That is incorrect, but this was a nice play nonetheless, hanging in there as that ball started coming back. I'd like to get the apex on some pop-ups.
Yeah, that one had a little to it. Came down like a ton of bricks. Guzman's had a nice night defensively. Involved some good plays. And now Andrelton Simmons, who is 1 for 3. Simmons will almost absolutely swing at this pitch. Oh,
wow.
2-0.
Now he's anxious.
You know what? He's been remarkably patient tonight. He's had a couple 4-pitch at bats.
Yes, really worked the count.
You know, a lot of guys try
He's
different
seen
things.
9 pitches tonight so far.
Wow. That ball is crushed high in the air out there to left field. Gallo might have room though, and he does. And he makes the catch to end the inning. A 1-2-3-8. Last chance for the Rangers coming up. Odor, Profar, and Gallo are due.
Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Shiner Light Blonde. It's light done right.
The happiest place on earth here in Anaheim, where the Angels lead 4-1 in this 9th inning. Now tomorrow, our Ford pitching probables. Yohander Mendez won his 4 games in September, a 2-1 record, a 4.34 ERA. Andrew Haney will go for the Angels. 1-3 with an ERA of 7.5 in his 6 career starts against the Rangers. Well, same time again tomorrow. Our pregame coverage will begin at 8:30 Central Time. First pitch right around 9 o'clock Central. And Hansel Robles to come on here in the 9th for the Angels.
He's going to try to close things out. We saw him last night. You see the numbers between the Mets and the Angels so far this season. 51 games, 55 strikeouts in his 54 innings. Fastball, slider, changeup for the right-hander, and for Robles, that fastball. He's been averaging 96 miles an hour this year.
All right, 4th reliever used tonight by the Angels. And Robles against Rougned Odor. And first pitch swinging, a little roller down the first baseline, and that will result in an easy out. 1 away. Brings up Jurickson Profar. The Rangers in danger of dropping the first 2 games in this series, unless they come up with a big comeback here in the 9th inning. And that one right in there for a strike to Profar. Yesterday the Rangers needed a run in the 9th inning and were able to come up with it. And now they're going to need a handful of base runners in the 9th inning tonight. This one grounded down to first again, and Johnson will go to the bag himself. 2 up, 2 down. Time for a word from the folks over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
All right, so Robles, it's 2 weak ground outs. And now looks at Joey Gallo. Gallo has been the offense tonight for the Rangers. 1 run on 6 hits. The run came on his home run. He takes downstairs. His 40th of the year. Just missed. Here was 3rd inning.
That was a fun one to watch, as most Joey Gallo home runs are. It was high, it was deep, to dead center field, and a no-doubter. Mike Trout gave chase, but he had absolutely no chance of getting to that ball. That's great to see Joey Gallo back-to-back seasons now with 40 home runs. That is absolutely amazing. Yeah, we always worry about where foul balls go. There was a dad up there just sitting down. His little guy had gone a few rows up, and the ball just landed right in his lap. He didn't even get up. And he caught it, and he didn't look like it hurt. And his son ran up and took the ball from him.
3-1 now the count. You gotta get it up there a ways.
Yeah, that was up there.
Good. That's a strike called and a full count. 99 miles per hour from Robles. Yesterday it was a 5-4 Angels win in 11 innings. The 3-2 pitch is outside, ball 4. Rangers still have a shot. 2-out walk here in the 9th. All right, Nomar Mazar will hit here for Chirinos. So Rangers looking for a little thunder from Mazar. Rangers have had some success lately with pinch hitters.
Yeah, both of these clubs have. We talked about it in the open. Joey Gallo with the pinch hit home run on Sunday. Elvis Andrus with the pinch hit single that tied the game in the 9th inning yesterday. Senio had back-to-back games in which he had hit pinch hit home runs. And now it is Nomar Mazar's turn.
His job just to get on base as Gallo takes off for second, and he is in there uncontested. And they score that one, defensive indifference.
18 plate appearances for Nomar Mazar as a pinch hitter. He is 3 for 15. In his career, to be clear.
Yeah, he has, real good power, and that's a big part of the game. He's also, as we've pointed out on many occasions, adept at using the whole field. He's a good complete hitter, which might suit him well in these spots. It's not like he's an all or nothing kind of guy. Normally you see a guy like Nomar coming to the plate late in a game like this, and you're thinking, yeah, they're hoping that he catches one and sends it over to the fence. That's not the case. They don't. A 2-run homer here simply makes it a 1-run game. They just need him to get on. And again, I think he's kind of well suited for this assignment. 2-1. That'll leave in the count.
Yeah, he certainly has the swing for it when you think about guys that are ability to put the ball in play, even swings. Now, he is also a guy that I think does have some rhythm to what he does, so the idea of coming off the bench a little bit cold could be uncomfortable for him.
Gallo off second base. The Robles 2-2 pitch. Out of the way. And the Angels have had a lot of success against the Rangers this year. 11 wins against 6 losses. Houston took 12 games in the head-to-head series this summer. Oakland took 13. 2-2 pitch, and there's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, that's the 12th win of the year for the Angels over the Texas Rangers. It's a strikeout of Mazar that ends it, and a